Jai Gurudev. Among some of my childhood memories are those of my father, Vaidya Raju, teaching Pulse to many doctors, medical and non-medical students, and also to the general public. He's a world-renowned pulse diagnosis expert. My brothers and I used to go to the forest and learn about the medicinal plants with my grandfather and father when we were very young, even 3 years. We are so fortunate to have the knowledge of Ayurveda and Jyotish on both father's side and mother's side of the family. As a girl, then I used to see these queues of patients in front of our clinic and house. It was so difficult to get my father's time for most of the patients. So they used to wait for him to come back home from the clinic at late night. My father used to conduct medical camps with Balraj Mahashiji in Hyderabad and in Tirupati. In Hyderabad, there were up to 10,000 patients every Sunday, and in Tirupati, it was 3 days medical camp from Friday to Monday morning. They used to see up to 40,000 patients every month. We used to go along with him and help him in the distribution of herbs. It was possible to see so many patients because of pulse diagnosis. It just takes a minute to check the pulse. It was easy and fast to check so many people's pulses and distribute the herbs, mainly because of knowledge of pulse diagnosis. There were only very few families left with this knowledge, and we are fortunate to be one of them. Soon after this, His Holiness Mahashiji organized a Vedic gathering of all the most renowned experts in his ashram. Among them was also my father. So Mahashiji directly told him to take part in the regeneration of Ayurveda to the world. And since then, my father and we also have been dedicated to re-establishing this most eternal Vedic science in creating a disease-free society for all of humanity. We were so fortunate to have Mahashiji and my father to guide us and show us the way in the traditional Gurukul system of education since our childhood, as to fulfill our family dharma, which is Ayurveda. I remember the care and attention that children receive from the Guru at such young age really affects and nurtures the samskaras of the children to maximize their total potential. Our first teaching about pulse diagnosis was in Lelystad in Holland, in Mercy School, to the kindergarteners. By then we were 9 or 10 years old. It is so easy to teach children because they're so innocent and they're like sponge. They absorb the knowledge and they practice as we tell them. So later on we joined the Ayurvedic University in India and found that much of the Ayurvedic principles and pulse diagnosis etc. have been lost or forgotten and not included in the curriculum. So we realized what Mahashiji prepared us for and why he repeatedly told us that this knowledge is the birthright of all humanity and not just a few families that we can count on our fingertips. So pulse is the most refined science of perception. It is a meditative practice in its own capacity. So it is up to us to refine it through the regular practice of perceiving vibrations. So as we know, everything, animate and inanimate, has its signature frequency in its subtlest state. And an expert can see the difference of its nature and distinguish between the abnormality that has been accumulated due to the time and wrong actions and decide the right course of treatment. So this is why pulse is regarded as the prime among the diagnostics in Ayurveda. So even for those who might not have the time to practice pulse diagnosis as a profession, it can still be utilized on a day-to-day basis to understand the nature of their body and the minute deviations, abnormalities occurring in their life, and immediately bringing that to their awareness so as to incorporate the balancing diet, herbs, and lifestyle habits, so as not to forget perfect health and remembering their ideal health, which is already embedded within their physiology. By this shloka, we can understand the goal of Ayurveda. Swasthasya swastha rakshanam, aturasya vikara prashamanam. So maintaining the health of a healthy person and bringing back the imbalances to balance if diseased. So this is the reason why we brought self-pulse diagnosis courses for all of humanity, so all of us can take benefit of this simplest technique of collecting our data through self-pulse diagnosis technique. It is the most simple, practical, and ideal, since one does not have to go anywhere or do anything other than just feeling their own pulse. Jai Gurudev.